Good evening, good evening. The first question is chat. Are we still painting Terminators? You know what? I've not finished the Terminators, let's be honest. Let's just get that right out there. The Terminators are not finished. I'm probably not going to be painting them though. This week I've actually been doing some other painting. I've been slapping 3 colors as quickly as possible onto some Land Raiders. Because I'm gonna run Land Raiders this week. We're gonna run some Land Raiders. We're gonna run 2. Obviously neither, they are so far from done, but they have 3 colors on them. They're ready. We got a couple of Land Raiders to run this week. More on that later, if anyone asks. The Terminators Eternal. Yeah. Joe, the Terminators are looking good though. I mean, you guys have been watching for a while. I mean, the Terminators are getting pretty close, right? I mean, I'm pretty happy with them. I don't know, there's still a few hours work in each of these guys. I fully admit it. But I'm wanting to run something different this week. So what that means is, guess what I've got here? 3 Terminators. I'm running a Crusader and a regular Land Raider. So I'm going to slap 3 colors on these guys tonight, and then I'll get back to my regular Terminators, or the regular never-ending Terminators next week. So this is where we're starting tonight. And it's just to give these guys a quick 3 color, because I'm going to run them in a battle, and I hate running things that don't have 3 colors on them. Especially I hate running them on the stream, especially if they don't have 3 colors on them. So we are playing Death Guard on Monday night, so this is in preparation for Monday night's game against Death Guard. Let me just move this one cable. But good evening, guys. Thanks for being here. Robert White. I think I caught you last night, Robert. Are you a follower of Liam Dempsey from Drop Zone TV? Because I've started tuning in on his stream. He does a show on like Friday nights. I think it's called like Beer and 40k or something. I actually don't know what the name of the show is. But he does a show where I guess he's just chatting Warhammer things on a Friday night, mainly. Like, I don't think he hobbies, or I haven't seen him hobby. Maybe his wife hobbies. But I was watching it for a bit last night while I was putting some colours on my Land Raider. I think I caught you briefly in the chat. But if I didn't, good evening. Someone else called Robert White, I guess. Dirty Wizard just says he's going to pop in out on the piss in Liverpool. Oh, well, have a great night, dude. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I'm going to run a Crusader for I think the first time in 9th edition. I didn't run this Crusader in 8th edition. I didn't run him in 7th edition. So this Crusader has been... I've had this Crusader for about... Oh geez, at least... I've had this Crusader for at least, let's say, 14 years. Probably 15 years. And I don't think... That was the last time it got played, probably 14 years ago. So this Crusader's coming out this week. Good evening, Daniel. How you doing? I didn't know you were a Flesh Tearers player, Daniel. You commented a couple of comments on the Flesh Tearers video this week. Good evening, thanks for being here. And Joseph's in the house, and Willis straight away asked if we were still painting Terminators. Well, we haven't finished those other Terminators, Willis, like I said, but we are going to be painting a little bit of some other Terminators tonight. It feels like, do you know what? I have a far too many unpainted Terminators. This could be my mission over the next few months, to get a lot more of my unpainted Terminators finished, I think. I'm not sure what I'm painting next after Terminators, honestly. I was half thinking about actually finishing up a couple of the Eradicator squads I have, because I've got like Eradicators like half painted. I always get excited about Eradicators, and then I guess I don't know, I stop playing them, or I don't like them, or I feel like there's something better. So, but like I have 6 Eradicators all half painted, so I should finish them as well. Good evening to Hit the Wound, how you doing? Oh, big announcement as well, the painting competition. It took me forever because there was about 100 entries, and I had to go through every single entry and see if every entry met all the conditions, because like some people sent in model pictures without like asked people to send in a bit of paper showing that the model was basically theirs. There was a bunch of entries that didn't have that, so I've gone through all the entries. I've got them all together. I think possibly next Saturday night we'll be picking winners for the painting competition. So all the entries are in. Everything's together. I need to do some final admin on it, which I'll probably try and do tomorrow, and then that should mean that like next Saturday night, hopefully, if everything lines up, because I'm going to get a couple of guests on to judge things, or to help judge things, I guess. So hopefully if that all lines up, then it'll be next Saturday night. We'll be same time as we always are, about 10 o'clock UK time. We'll be on to look over all the entries that we got in the painting competition and pick a couple of winners. So if you can join us for next Saturday night stream, great. If you can't, I mean, if you win, don't worry, I'll message you even if you aren't in the stream, so no worries, either way, it's absolutely fine. But yeah, the painting competition should be next week, assuming that all my judges can get some time next Saturday night. Jordan says he just finished his first 500 points and he's packing up now for his first game tomorrow against the Salamander army. Can't wait. Oh, congrats, dude, on getting ready for your first game. That's exciting. Do you know what? My first game of Warhammer must have been about 2nd edition. I was going to say, I don't know if I can remember my first game, but my first game must have been like, oh geez, like, it must have been close to 30 years ago at this point, because I must have been, maybe not 30, let's say like 25, 26 or something. Yeah, so many years ago. It would have been the Blood Angels tactical squads and the orcs from that 2nd edition box set. That would have been my first game. So probably by today's standard, that would have been about 400 points, maybe, something like that. Oh, it's a different Daniel playing Flesh Tears. I've only played them once for fun. Okay, I guess we've got a few people in that follow the stream with the same names. Yeah, I've been caught out by that before, or the same first names. It's hard for me to remember. There's so many comments at times. Good evening, Jeff. How you doing? And Toby is in the house tonight. Good evening, Toby. So what have you guys been up to today? Anyone had anything exciting going on? Did anyone? I believe the Tyrannid Codex went up for pre-order, right? Did anyone go for Tyrannids today? Some people call them Tyrannids. I actually don't know what the correct pronunciation is for them. I imagine it's probably Tyrannids. It was all about the Dark Elder and the Templars and 3rd edition box set rules. Fair enough. I don't think I bought the 3rd edition box set rule. I think I at that point I decided on my faction and I wasn't going for a new one. I liked the expansion to 2nd edition. I don't know if you guys remember that Dark Millennium. That was a cool. I like Dark Millennium, but honestly, 2nd edition was so slow. The games used to take so much time. So that was one thing that I didn't like about 2nd edition, was like just the sheer length of every game. You could never finish a game in a single evening in 2nd edition, it felt like. JB says, what's up from New York City? Good evening, New York, right? Man, I haven't been to New York in about 10 years. I had a good time last time I was there. Nice to see we get some people from New York. We're about in New York. Reziel's here tonight as well. Good evening, Reziel. How you doing? You'll be glad to know that I'm painting Terminators. I mean, if you want to have a debate about Terminators tonight, we couldn't have one. I mean, there's never been a debate in this channel about if Terminators are good or not, right? But I'm gonna run Land Raiders and I'm gonna run Centurions this week. And spoiler, I'm not going to be playing Blood Angels this week. It's going to be my first non-Blood Angels game since, honestly, probably about 20 years. Right outside of Manhattan, says Jay. Okay, cool, nice. I mean, I know Manhattan, but I mean, I guess everyone that goes to New York knows Manhattan, so cool. Greetings, Camille. Good evening. How you doing? I have painted my incursors yesterday, finished my Razorback Damocles today, and started some Red Corsair Terminators. Okay. Red Corsairs are a Blood Angel successor, right? They're the ones that have those two cool characters. Castian. I'm never gonna say his last name right. I'm surprised I even remembered it was Castian. Castian Sabis, is it? Castian Sabian? I like the Castian Sabin. What am I playing if it's not Blood Angels? I'm playing Black Templars. I picked up their book a few weeks ago. Maybe not a few weeks ago, maybe like a week ago. And I've got a GT coming up. Well, I put my name down. Apparently the GT in my local town sold out in like less than 24 hours. I didn't realize it was going to sell out that quick, so I've got my name on the reserve list. But I've got a GT coming up in November, and I mean, that's the first one I'm probably going to be able to get to, because you know, because of my young son and stuff, and like just difficultly finding time to get away from the family for a weekend. So if they don't fix Blood Angels, or if they don't release Space Marine Codex 2.0 by then, I'm probably not going to play Blood Angels at the GT, because I think there's too many things that counter us too hard, honestly. It's just these last few books that have come out, and I guess we've got a Balance Data Slate coming out this week. Apparently, yeah, I think it is this week. But the last round of Balance Data Slates honestly really disappointed me, right? I don't know how you guys felt about the last Balance Data Slate, but like, I really felt like it was, yes, they would like nerf a couple of the strongest things, but like in terms of like balancing all the chapters, that's not really something they're doing with these balance slates. They're just putting some nerfs on, let's say, some of the strongest stuff, and then that's it, right? I'm wondering why there's a Black Templar. Oh, this is the Black Terminator. This is the limited edition. He was like a special release. What is he? He's a chaplain in Terminator armor with a combi flamer, and he came out maybe like a year ago as like a, I don't know, I think it was like, you know, the sort of nonsense they're doing at the moment where you only had 2 weeks to buy him. So I bought him. I've run him once. I ran him against Andrew's orc buggies, but obviously I guess when I ran him, he wasn't painted. So I thought I'd just slap a few colors on him real quick tonight. But yeah, I'm going to paint him in black and then see how we do. I'm not finished with the AOW Tyrannid Codex review yet, but they're looking really strong. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of par for the course at the moment, right? Every new faction that's coming out, their codex, is it strong or is it overtuned? Because I was trying to not use the word I was trying not to say all the new codexes are unbalanced, right? Because like, I suppose it's really hard to balance this game. It's a giant game. There's so many armies. You know, there's so many rules. Balance is like balance is probably almost a myth, but some of those new codexes are coming out, and they're just, I think it was, I watched Tabletop Tactics a bit. Honestly, I don't really watch Art of War that much. Maybe it's just like Art of War or like an American site, and Tabletop Tactics are like the UK site, so maybe you just watch what you prefer region wise. But yeah, I watch more Tabletop Tactics than I do watch Art of War. And you know, like on Tabletop Tactics, they'd said that they felt some of the new codexes, they were trying to not say unbalanced as well. They were saying like they felt like they were overtuned or something of that nature. And I mean, that's what I've been trying to say as well. But yeah, I mean, the new codexes are strong in general. It feels like just all the new codexes feel really strong, right? What color are you using for the wings? I use it for all my wings, dude. It's this celestial grey. I will paint. It usually needs a couple of coats, but after I've painted it on, here's one that I did paint earlier. I then just wash it with Nuln Oil, and that's the sort of thing you'll get. And then typically after that, I'll dry brush that with Praxi White. I haven't done it on that model yet, but it's a very simple way to make the wings look like they're feathery / cool. Camille must make a confession. He started to play Grey Knights. I don't blame you, Camille. I said on some of my videos as of late, like, if you want to experiment with other things, I think now is the time to do it, because why do I think now is the time to do it? I think now is the time to do it because the balance is like I said, the balance right now for Blood Angels it's rough, and I know some people are still managing to make it work. And I mean, I played it in my last GT, and like, I had an 80% win rate last year with Blood Angels, but I do feel like some of these new armies, like, there's just, like, Custodes just have so many ways to counter us, it's ridiculous. And like, when you look at the top meta lists, top tables at the moment, Custodes are there or thereabouts. I guess we'll see what happens with this balance slate this week, but the last couple of balance slates honestly have felt a little bit disappointing, I guess is how I'd say it. You know, like, they're nerfing the strongest stuff in their balance slates, sure, but they're not looking at, like, the weaker stuff and generally fixing it. It feels like they're just reacting to what people are saying is overpowered, as opposed to fixing stuff that is underpowered. And to me, that's not really a balance slate, right? That's just them nerfing the overpowered stuff, which they would do anyway. I mean, it was originally sold as a balance slate, like, hey, we're going to balance the game every 3 months, every 6 months, right? Good evening, Daniel. Chaplain Tarentus, Warhammer Day 2019. That's who this is, correct. Thank you for pointing that out. I couldn't remember the name of him. Good evening, Steve. John, I actually wouldn't think the Nid's codex seems broken OP as much. It's very flexible. Have they killed Crusher Stampede then, or is Crusher Stampede still the same thing? Or still is not the same thing. Is Crusher Stampede still a thing, I guess? Daniel's painting an Orc Battle Wagon tonight. The problem with the data slates is only clarify rules and change points. They won't add other stuff like giving tanks feel no pain, because it makes people question the need for codexes even more. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The data slates aren't even balancing the weak stuff. I got myself a Blood Angels Librarian Dreadnought. What weapon should I give it? Well, I mean, it has to have the Force Pike, right, and a Power Fist. So your other choices beyond that are really the Heavy Flamer or the Meltagun. I tend to prefer the Meltagun. I mean, you can give it a Stormbolter and keep it cheap, but I tend to think that the Meltagun is kind of useful. But I think the Meltagun only costs 5 points on it. Nids are equal or better to Harlequins right now. Oh, John, you got some friends at Art of War? Cool. Alright, so, well, Nids are going to have a very strong codex as well, it seems like. Like, I thought that they were going to make Crusher Stampede, like, not as strong. But I mean, I haven't looked into the Nids codex much myself yet. It's not confirmed if it's compatible yet. Okay. Goonhammer says Crusher Stampede is at least as good as the Clowns. I mean, I saw a tournament just last week, the Manchester GT, and Crusher Stampede won that tournament, and they beat out a bunch of Harlequin players. I think there was 14 Harlequin players in the top 20 at the Manchester GT, but it was a Tyranid Crusher Stampede that won it, right? Crusher Stampede wasn't mentioned, so it could still be there. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more Crusher Stampedes, because the durability of the units just yeah, it's very good, isn't it? And that's, you know, there was a video on was it Tabletop Titans just the other night, where it was like there was a Blood Angels list ran, and they ran three squads of Bladeguard Veteran, a 5s and a 5 and a 4. And I guess like that just shows you, like, you know, if sometimes you think about this edition rewarding you for like being survivable, getting on objectives and sticking it out and stuff, we don't often see Blood Angels lists running, what was it? So that was essentially 14 Bladeguard Veterans, and he had the Priest in there as well, so he was going to be reviving and double healing and all that nonsense for 14 Bladeguard Veterans. So it just shows that, like, durability this edition is, I don't want to say it's king, but it certainly helps if you're trying to score and you know, stick around on the board and score points that way. The Blood Angels assault kit has spoiled us, trying to assemble a regular Terminator squad, and there are so many mold lines. Do you know what? I bought Incursors recently, and Incursors are honestly the worst squad I've ever had for mold lines, it felt like. Of all the new Primaris models and units and everything like that, it felt like Incursors were just, they just had mold line. Every model needed like 10 minutes of cleaning of mold lines, which is kind of frustrating, to be honest. I don't mind cleaning off some mold lines, but when they're everywhere, it can be a bit of a drag, right? I'm wondering if Stephen Box is playtesting Blood Angels getting a free Outrider with 3 times Assault Marine squads. I mean, sure, I just don't rate Assault Marines. Highland, I actually kind of think that they're, I guess I think they're terrible. I mean, what have they got going for them? They're fast attack, and they're like, is it like, are they literally 1 point per model cheaper than Vanguard Veterans? It's not like they've got OBSEC or anything, right? So they're literally just 1 point cheaper than Vanguard Veterans, and I don't know. Hey, Steel Rain's in the house. Good evening, Steel Rain. It's been a little while. How you doing? So my buddy said that without Army of Renown, Nids are at least as good as Harlequins. With Army of Renown, they're a level above Harlequins, which scares them at how good they would be. Well, I mean, yeah, the current edition is definitely people lurching from one army to another, and we actually had like quite a long chat about this in, like, I guess in next week's 3 Grots in a Vox video. You know, we're going to talk a lot about I guess the state or the balance that we're seeing in ninth, and I guess the lurching from army to army that, like, a lot of people are doing, I guess, right? And I think it's been every single codex. Every single codex now since probably AdMech. And I mean, Orcs even to an extent as well. Yeah, I mean, Orcs was so broken they had to remove all the Orc buggy shenanigans, right? So I guess it's been every codex since AdMech and Orcs, which were, it feels like a while. Like, when did AdMech actually get their codex? Like, that's got to be at least 6 months ago now. So it's like every codex in the last 6 months has just come onto the scene and been like, quote unquote, a tournament winning codex. Hey Juice Pimpson, good evening. Actrail, how you doing? No one rates Assault Marines Blood Angels Commander, but they have jump packs, don't use elite slot, and have melta bombs, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I still don't rate them, even with all those. Even with all that said, Highland Phoenix, maybe someone will come along and beat me with 3 squads of 10 Assault Marines, and then I'll rate them. But until that happens, I'm not gonna rate them. I don't see why they'd be strong. You know, like, it's just like, they just have 1 attack. Like, yeah, I mean, just the 1 attack part of it just makes me think, like, wow, that's crap. I mean, are Assault Marines even that much cheaper than Death Company now that Death Company have dropped 2 points? How many attacks does a regular Death Company guy have? 3? And I feel no pain? I'll be Blood Angels till I die. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, be Blood Angels till you die, just don't, I really don't know how I feel about 30 Assault Marines. We've seen a lot of people, like, trying out different tactics and stuff, but, I mean, I guess the one cool thing that the Assault Marines can have is that they can have Eviscerators, but it's only like 1 model can have them, right? Like, just the Sergeant, I think, can have an Eviscerator. Firstborn Death Company are 2 base attacks, yes, but they get 1 bonus attack for being part of the Death Company, right? So essentially that kind of makes them 3 base, right? I heard that he would played. I think he actually won against the against the Dark Angels, Daniel. I believe he won with the 30 Assault Marines, right? 115 points for 5 Death Company. 6 attacks each with chainswords. They're pretty nice. What does an assault Marine with a jump pack cost? So it's 20 points per model for an Assault Marine with a jump pack. And the Death Company are, what? 3 points more per model, is that right? Yeah, because their jump pack costs 1 more point. Okay. 3 more points per model, but you're basically going from 1 attack to 3. And you're getting a 6-up shrug. I feel like 2 points per model is worth that, but I mean, yeah. 30 Assault Marines. It's... I don't know, I don't even have 30 Assault Marines. You won't see me running 30 Assault Marines. I think back in the day I probably converted a bunch of my Assault Marines into the likes of Vanguard Veterans because I thought Assault Marines were kind of trashy, right? Greetings from Bavaria, Blood Angels. What do you think about Space Wolves? I take it you mean what do I think about playing against them, or would you just, like, what's my opinion on Space Wolves? They have to charge to get the Black Rage. No, I don't believe so. I think they're 1 attack from the Black Rage. Do I have my codex here? Yeah. I do have my codex here, 1 second. Black Rage. Where would that be? That's what I get for not playing Death Company nearly enough, I guess. It's if you charge, perform a heroic intervention, you add +1 attacks. Each time you should fight and made a charge move or perform a heroic intervention. So you don't get the Black Rage attack if you are charged. So I guess regular squads really only get it on the charge. It'd only be characters that are going to get the Black Rage from basically heroic intervening. I had 30-foot assault marines at one point. You'd arm them with melta guns at least. I mean, when you start putting melta guns on assault marines, oh, I don't know, man. I just don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I just think it's the lack of shots, probably. You know, like if you think about like an Eradicator squad, basically getting like 6 24-inch shots for 135 points. I mean, I guess you're gonna get some mobility in like a 200-point squad of assault marines and some melta gun shots. I don't know. I just find 2-wound marines with power armor just die so fast in the current meta. You wouldn't run them yourself? Okay, so... But I mean, if Steven's finding ways to win games with 30 assault marines, I mean, good for him, I guess, right? I'm sure there is ways to win games, and I'm sure you can use the mobility that gives you to your advantage. I'm just not a fan of it myself, personally, I think. But then I've never really liked playing Blood Angels in 9th, I guess, with just focusing pure on the melee sort of side of things, right? Like my lists typically always... My lists of Blood Angels typically always include fire support. And you know, in my last list it was Eradicators and Infiltrators. And you know what, we saw another Blood Angels tournament winning list just a couple of weeks ago, right? And had my bud who runs Chaos start complaining that 2 wounds aren't enough already. Yeah, I mean, by the time Chaos get 2 wounds, the whole meta is going to have a million weapons that kill models that have 2 wounds, and they'd probably prefer to have them with 1 wound and less and cost less, right? I think that's a big thing that Marines have suffered from this edition, is like, yes, we got 2 wounds on all our Marines, but I'd say that there's so many 2 wound weapons out there, it certainly doesn't feel like power armor Marines are survivable. Like, that's not a thing that I would say I've ever... Maybe right at the beginning of 9th it was nice, but right now it's you know, Marines get killed left, right and center. Like, I've been running Terminators because I feel like I have to run Terminators because my other stuff doesn't survive long enough. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, do you know what, I want to run Terminators. No, it was more like getting frustrated that everything else is just dying and be like, well, maybe I should try some 3-wound models with better armor saves. Well, unfortunately, we don't have much choice beyond Terminators, right? I mean, I guess you've got Blade Guard Veterans, but we have had so many discussions about Blade Guard Veterans and their survivability and that on this channel. They're good, just Terminators are slightly better. What do you think about 3 max units of Inceptors against Harleys, 2 units of Assault Bolters, 1 of Plasma, combat squad them and drop them in to counter Harleys? I mean, I like Bolter Inceptors, I do. I also kind of like Plasma Inceptors. I personally prefer the Bolters because I hate killing my own models with like bad rolls. I actually think that's a mechanic they need to get rid of, like just get rid of Space Marines killing their own models with ones on their Plasmas, but regardless, I think you'd probably end up spending too many points on bolter inceptors. Like maybe they'd be good against harlequins, but then you're not gonna end up doing well against other factions. And I mean, bolter inceptors with Descent of the Angels can be, or Descent of the Angel stratagem can be very good. I just don't think you want to spend max squad size, so you spend like 240, 480. I don't even know what a max squad of plasmas costs, like 360. I don't think you can spend 800 points on Inceptors. How many fast attack slots do you get in a battalion again? Is it 3 or is it 2? I always forget this. I don't typically take that many fast attack, but I think it might just be 2. Oh crap. What's it? Sorry, I have the baby monitor here, but I always forget to look at it when I'm streaming. Just my daughter standing outside the door crying. My bad. Parent fail. Yeah, I think 800 points is too much to spend on Inceptors. And plus it only counters one army, right? Because Inceptors don't do that well against... Well, Plasma Inceptors are pretty trash against anything that's -1 damage, like Dreadnoughts and stuff. Plasma Inceptors aren't great against them. I mean, they'll kill them, but you'll have to use the whole squad to, like, kill a single Dreadnought, which, you know, you spend 300 points on a unit that can just kill, like, a Dreadnought, which is half its points, and then... my experience with Plasma Inceptors is a rough... I've never been big into them. Like, I get some people have used them to, like, win tournaments and stuff, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Plasma Inceptors. I just hate models that are going to kill your own... I just think there's too many negatives for me on Plasma Inceptors. The -1 damage, the fact that you have to pay CP so you don't kill your own models, etc, etc. I usually run one unit of 6, either combat squad or keep them as a 6 if I use Descent. Yeah, I mean, you can run one squad. And, I mean, I ran Inceptors with bolters in one of my tournament lists. Just a cheaper squad, like 120 points. I guess that was before they changed all the nonsense about, like... You could do actions with them pretty successfully before then, because you had, because a 3-man squad could do like Nat Monday and you could still shoot and stuff, so like I don't dislike Plasma Inceptors, or I don't dislike Inceptors, I guess, maybe. But I think it's maybe too much to put that much points into it, I guess. Plasma is the super weapon of yesteryear. Yeah, I mean, they're not very good in the current they're just not very good at the moment, I guess. I mean, if you look at Tau Plasma just do flat 3 damage and they don't overheat at all. Why are the Space Marines so behind with plasma tech? That's my question. I thought the Imperium and Man was supposed to be advanced, huh? -1 damage makes overcharge not worth the risk, 100%. 40k Warrior Tuber says, "Evening John, I played the other night vs Sisters. I was not expecting to do so well. I lost the game but ended up killing 80% of my Onus's force thanks to your tactics." Yeah, I think Sisters are a totally beatable army for us. They are quite strong, but I think we've got the tools to beat Sisters. I played a lot of Sisters this edition, and once you realize what like their gotchas are and kind of like how to fight into them, then I think Sisters are a very beatable army. I think they're decent, but they're beatable. What would be cool is Thunderhammers on Inceptors. Yeah, at some point we'll get Primaris. I assume at some point we'll get Primaris jump infantry that can take Thunderhammers. Who knows when, but hopefully not too much longer. And hopefully they're not so like one-dimensional like the current Primaris, where it's like one model in the squad can be upgraded. That really grinds my gears. You know, none of the other factions seem to have that. Like, you don't get like, you know, Admech, one model can have a taser pistol. No, it's like the whole, or what is it, the taser goad or whatever it's called. It's like the whole damn squad can take the tasers. Like, why do Primaris have this stupid rule where like one model in the squad can take them? I don't know why. Plasma cannons have D3 shots. Do the Tau plasmas have D3? I don't know. I'm talking about the plasmas that you see on the battle suits. Relic Contemptors don't kill Harlequins and Blood Angels because we don't have any other shooting, and Quins are either hiding in transports. You don't kill transports with Volkites. Do you know what? Transports are kind of weak against Volkites if you compare like some of the other heavy armor. But I mean, you would have to have multiple Dreadnoughts with Volkites, right? And like, I don't think multiple Dreadnoughts with Volkites is that good. And I actually ran a list at a GT recently that was like two Relic Contemptors with Volkites and a Redemptor with the Plasma, and I did well in the GT, but I also didn't like the list, right? You know, like when you're playing a list and you're like, you know, you feel like you're doing okay, or you feel like you ended up getting quite a good score, but like you didn't like the list, and that's the Volkites, and that was before Volkites went up in price, so I didn't really like them. I think if you want to run Dreadnoughts as Blood Angels, I think you're better running like one Volkite and one Claw, or a Chain Fist. Like, I think it's better to be more melee orientated. We just tend to do a lot more damage in melee, I guess. And like double Volkites is fun and it's okay, but there's some things it just doesn't go well into, I found. And the other thing about double Volkites is you're kind of relying on those sixes, you know? Like, you're hoping that you proc mortal wounds. And like, if you're at a tournament table and you're relying on yourself to roll sixes to get mortal wounds, it's not a great situation to be in, right? Because, yeah, those Volcon's Contemptors either do 0 mortal wounds or they do like 8. There's no in between for them. It's just, they're so swingy, I guess. Stephen only took 2 HQ, and then he took the Sangre Ancient with Wrath of Baal. I mean, if you're going to run a lot of jump units, then Wrath of Baal is an obvious... Wrath of Baal becomes more valuable the more jump units you have, obviously. So, that, yeah, I can understand why you would run Wrath of Baal, right? And I mean, Blood Angels don't need a ton of HQ to be a good army. I mean, if anything, our HQ, our named characters aren't that great. You know, we've talked about it at length on this channel. Flat 3 is way better than Flat 2. The difference is far too large. Yeah, I mean, the Flat 3 is great. And like you said, if you come up against like -1 damage or half damage enemies, then Flat 2 is just... Sorry, Flat 3 is just so much better. yeah, it kind of just dwarfs it, I guess. So Primaris Assault Squad, let's go. I mean, I think a lot of people have been waiting like 3 years at this point for a Primaris Assault Squad. I've said it so many times on the stream, I'm really surprised that we don't have one already. Jax. I mean, surely to God, that's what this year's release is going to be for, because there's rumours of a new Marine Codex, there's rumours of a new Dreadnought. We've got to get Primaris Assault Squads or the similar, or something similar. If we don't at this point, like, I don't know when the hell we're ever getting them. As Blood Angels, is there really any good shooting? Yeah, there 100% is Sangre Angel. I ran, in one of the GTs I was at, I ran basically 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and a Tech Marine and a Chapter Master, and what that means is you've got both Redemptor Dreadnoughts, you've got one Dreadnought hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, you got the other Dreadnought hitting on 3s, rerolling everything. So what that actually means, like if you math that out, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s means that's actually a 97% chance to hit, and the other one hitting on 3s, rerolling everything, is an 88% chance to hit. Well, it's 88.8 if you really want to get specific. But basically what that means is Blood Angels, for not that big an investment, just a couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts, characters that can be used in multiple ways. My Chapter Master always ends up the game in combat, killing things with his Thunder Hammer. So, and what that does is you've got one Dreadnought with a 97% chance to hit, one Dreadnought with an 88% chance to hit, and at the tournament that I took that to, I still think that's good. And that's the one thing that, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, Blood Angels can't shoot. Well, I want to argue that we can shoot just fine. If you want to, in that list that I took to that tournament, if you ignore those 2 Dreadnoughts for the entire game, because let's face it, you can either, if you're playing against Blood Angels player, you're either going to kill their Dreadnoughts or you're going to go after their melee units. If you want to ignore those 2 Dreadnoughts with that level of probability on hitting, you know, if you ignore them, the Dreadnoughts will take over the game and win the game, because they will do a lot of damage if they get to shoot unharassed for like 5 turns. And you know, if you do go after the Dreadnoughts, then you're doing exactly maybe what the Blood Angels player wants, which is the enemies focused all their firepower into the Dreadnoughts, and it leaves a lot of space for your melee units to run around. So I don't buy when people say Blood Angels can't shoot, Blood Angels shouldn't take Dreadnoughts, that sort of thing. I don't buy it at all. I think if you wanna shoot as Blood Angels, just make sure you've thought about some of the probabilities and the things you can do. And I surprised some people in that tournament, honestly, with how good my how good my army played. And yeah, I mean, we're, you know, at the beginning of the stream we were talking about the guy that won the Manchester GT. I mean, I beat him at a tournament last year. It wasn't even close. I don't think I beat him 20-0. I think I beat him like 15-5 though. Like, it was a solid win. And that was with that shooting Blood Angels list that I think people didn't really know how to play against, because not that many people take Blood Angels lists that shoot well. So John's been speaking to Adrian, who topped a 6 to 8 player tournament, but believes Blood Angels need more beef. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I think that's the general consensus. Our codex doesn't feel like a 9th edition codex to me. It feels like an 8.5. We don't have a ton of survivability through our lists, and I mean, I guess that's why I've dropped down to playing Terminators in my lists, just to try and get like durable units that can hang around and sit on the board. And there's obviously a lot of controversy on me playing Terminators. Some people don't like them, some people think they're bad, other people think they're overcosted. I mean, I don't think Terminators are brilliant, I just don't think we have that many options in terms of like really survivable Marines that can sit on objectives or can tough it out against the hardest hitting enemies. So I guess that's why I've been using Terminators. Would I still take Redemptors with increased points now? I mean, the points only went up 10 points per model, so I mean, it's not huge. I don't know if double I think double Redemptor have another problem, to be honest. And again, it's more of a like, their main cannon, the macro plasma cannon, is D6 shots. I kind of hate weapons that are like that. They're so swingy. So I guess that's why some people, I guess, maybe prefer the Relic Contemptors, but you can still do the same thing, right? Like, you can run a Relic Contemptor. And I did it at the other tournament I was at. I ran a Relic Contemptor hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. So 90% of the time when you shoot both Volkites, you end up with 16 hits. The problem is, like I said, some things don't run into Volkites very well, but I think that Redemptors went up in points because they're really good for Black Templars. And I think they probably shouldn't have gone up in points for the likes of Blood Angels, but I guess that's more of a problem with like Space Marine rules being the way that they're written, where like so many chapters are codex compliant. So is there anything we can do about that, or is there anything to say about that? I don't know. I mean, I've tried to move away from Dreadnoughts anyway because Tau just delete Dreadnoughts. I mean, Tau delete a lot of things at the moment. I think I really want to see in this points cost changes coming this week. I want to see some sort of reduction for Tau, because right now, like, Tau kill me in Overwatch, Tau kill me in shooting, Tau kill me when they don't have line of sight against me. I really don't know how we beat Tau. It's kind of ridiculous. I think you have a better chance to win with Blood Angels via easier reliable charge, Sangre Ancient +2 move, Chaplain +2 charge, litanies, Veil of Time reroll. I mean, that certainly helps. It'd be mad to say that sort of stuff doesn't help. EXO. But I think, you know, like a few streams ago, somebody was like asking, they were like, I have a really difficult time in my games keeping my Sangre Guard alive. You know, I managed to get them into combat, they kill whatever they're into combat with, and then they just get deleted next turn. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the whole problem with Sangre Guard right now, right? Like, they can kill stuff, but yeah, they'll just always get killed. The -1 to hit them in combat, I honestly don't think is that powerful. I'd much rather if they had some sort of like invulnerable save in combat. But like, you know, like Witches, for example, on Drukhari, but like for 32 points per model, Sangre Guard they're a tough model to know how to play right, I guess, because it's 100% true, is like half the time you jump them in, you can make a kill or you can do some good damage, and then they just get picked off. Like a whole squad can get picked off very quickly, and that squad can be like, I don't know, 300 points or something, or close to it, and you can just lose it in a single turn, and sometimes it doesn't even take the opponent, it doesn't feel like the opponent need to do that much to get rid of them. Volkite Dreads are pretty nice. Yeah, Volkite Dreads are pretty nice until you run into an army like Grey Knights, where they've got a ton of Nemesis Dreadknights and they save everything on a 2+. And I mean, Volcons do like no damage against stuff that's like above toughness 6. Volcons are like really not good, I think. That's why I think it's better as Blood Angels. And like I played double Volcon at a tournament. Well, I did well at the tournament, but like I think it's too one-dimensional. And like people would try and like charge in and like tie up the Volcons with, you know, I had like an Imperial Guard player try and tie up the Volcons with like Tempest Scions or something, just to like stop them, you know, basically stop them shooting effectively and stuff like that. So like, I think if you want to do Volcon on Relic Contemptor, my plan would be to run one arm Volkite and one arm like melee. I think that's the best way to do it. And sometimes I think probably Cyclone Missile Launcher in there too is decent. I think you get that for about 180, 185 points. And at that point, it's kind of the same cost as the Redemptor, but it's got a built-in invulnerable save. And I guess like Redemptors are, like I said, I think Redemptors got nerfed because I think Deathwatch were using them a lot and Black Templars were using them a lot. But like, I don't know if they needed to be nerfed for the other chapters. Marines are not good right now overall. They're lavishly overcosted and outdated compared to everything else. They're a solid B tier faction overall right now with 2 chapters good. What are the good chapters in your opinion, John? Oh, Dark Angels and Black Templars have some play, but overall Marines are not there. Yeah, I mean, that's literally why I picked up the Dark Templars book a few weeks back. And do you know what? When you read through the Dark Templars book, because I've read it just in the last couple of weeks, when you read it and you compare the rules and stuff that they have against the Blood Angels, it really sort of like... It really... What's the word I'm looking for? I think it just really shows that, like, in my opinion, the Blood Angels Codex is what we would argue is like a 8.5 Codex release, whereas the Dark Templars Codex feels like a 9th edition Codex release. Because, I mean, if you go back to 8th edition and you pick some of the best stratagems that Blood Angels had, right? Like the 3d6 charge, the relocate on the battlefield. Like, if they'd still had those, like, would Blood Angels be in a pretty okay spot? Probably. I mean, I think they only got taken away, right? Because it was like at the start of a new edition. There was there... Games Workshop wanted to make it sound like that they were going to be balancing everything better and the rules were going to get a little bit less insane. And that was the rhetoric that we sort of got, right? Like, everything's going to be a bit better balanced this edition. It's not going to have so much overpowered stuff. And so Blood Angels got their book and everyone was like, oh cool, okay, so is this going to be a thing where everything's a bit more sane? And then I guess it stayed for like, how long did it even stay? I really don't know. Lower question, could you shove a Primaris Marine into a regular Dreadnought if they were hurt enough? I mean, I assume that when they take them, they don't put them into the Dreadnought in their armor, right? So I don't see any reason... I don't think there would be a reason. I mean... They may make a reason in the lore, but I mean, people are already upset that, like... People already think it's a bit stupid that, like, Primaris Marines can't go in Impulsors or... Sorry, Primaris Marines can't go in Rhinos, etc. I mean, Dante went in an Impulsor in one of the books, right? Like, Dante's got a jetpack, they definitely can't go in Impulsors. So, the rules around what models can go in what transports are also maybe a little bit... silly, for lack of a better word, I guess. If you're Blood Angels and using jump pats, do you not just hop over screens most of the time if they deploy close together and just go You just go for the junk units on objectives and wait for splits. I missed something about stuff that's fatal to charge. Don't have the models, but I'm interested in a 6-man Centurion unit with grav cannons, missile launchers, and the ability to combat squad if required for more firepower. I mean, isn't the big problem with Centurions, though, Highland Phoenix, the fact that they don't have core? Right? Like, so that there's no rerolls on them, and I guess there's no +1 to hits. And Centurions, even with their recent points drops, aren't they kind of insane in terms of how costly they are? I actually don't know, but I feel like they are insane in terms of their points costs. On my way against a 1k game of Ultramarines, any tips? I mean, just be aware that they've got some sort of like, I forget what it's called, but there's a way that they can overwatch and have units around the target join as well. So if you're ever going to charge into a big blob of Ultramarines, it could be worth trying to be in an obscuring position. It's not always easily done, but sometimes if you can do it, it's worth knowing that. It was the Black Templars that got the Dreadnoughts nerfed. Yeah, I thought it was. It's the fact that they can just give the whole army... well, the whole army gets a 5-up invulnerable save and a 5-up against mortal wounds, right? For Black Templars. So I guess like when you give Redemptor Dreadnoughts a 5-up against mortal wounds and a 5-up against, or a baked in, I guess, 5-up invulnerable save, and also they have transhuman as well, right? So you can never wound them on rolls of 1s and 2s. So it kind of just elevates the, and it's really sad. I don't know how they fix that. I guess the way that they need to fix that is they kind of need it that like if they're gonna do something like that, they'd almost need to have a points cost for Redemptors per faction, I guess, or the really good units would need like a points cost per faction, because like otherwise like the balance with the Marines is kind of doomed. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how they fix that. But I do think it sucks for like, you know, for me as a Blood Angels player to see my Redemptor go up like 10 points per Redemptor and know that like I said, I think Redemptors have some pretty big weaknesses. I think the D6 on their gun is a huge weakness. I think the fact they have no invulnerable save is another huge weakness. I get that doesn't help. I get that the Black Templars don't have the invulnerable save problem, but like for all the other Marine chapters, I guess they do, right? Devastating Centurions are really bad. Friends don't let friends. Yeah, I mean, Assault Centurions are expensive, but Devastator Centurions, I think, are probably like a step too far, right? Iron Hands still do some amazing dread tech as well. Yeah, I mean the double profile for wounds and the -1 damage for Iron Hands can definitely make their dreads fieldable, playable, however you want to call it. The idea of core makes no sense to me. A captain should be able to give his buff to anyone around him. I mean, core was only brought in 9th. And honestly, I guess the way it's been brought in hasn't been perfect, so that's probably more what you're thinking, Dino. Because it was a bit strange that, like, Dreadnoughts got -1 damage and core, where vehicles got neither of those things. It should have probably been like maybe half and half, right? Like maybe Dreadnoughts got core, but all the vehicles got -1 damage, because what we've got in the situation, and I guess what we've really seen this edition is just, we've seen tons and tons of lists that include Dreadnoughts. All the way going on, pretty much ever since they made Dreadnoughts have permanent duty eternal, because duty eternal used to be a stratagem for Dreadnoughts, right? And it used to be a good strat, right? Like it was 1 CP to make -1 damage, and I used to run like a Leviathan Dreadnought, and I used to duty eternal it like almost every time the enemy went after it, because I was like, wow, this is a strong strat, like -1 damage to everything coming in on my Leviathan. Trusted everything, like Leviathans were better back then. I think back then Leviathans had a 4-up invulnerable save, whereas now they got the 5-up. But yeah, so it was like Duty Eternal was a legitly good stratagem for -1 damage on Dreadnoughts, and they gave it to every Dread, whereas they didn't do anything for vehicles. So this edition has been a bit strange in that sort of sense, like why vehicles got left behind, or why vehicles got left so far behind, maybe. If we're talking heavy support, I think the only viable heavy is Eliminators, because they shoot and hide. However, they still die to Tau and Elder Indirect. I mean, I don't mind Eradicators. I actually think Eradicators are one of the few units that haven't had their points costs just inflate for arguably not too much reason. I think Eradicators originally were 40 points per model, so they've inflated a little bit to 45. But I mean, I think for 45, Eradicators are okay. I wouldn't say they're great, but I think they're okay. But I mean, the inflated bikes, I used to run attack bikes. I liked my attack bikes. And sometimes now I run like a land speeder. But Eradicators and Eliminators, I guess the big problem with Eliminators is now up against some, like, Eliminators only survive because they have those camo cloaks, and if Tau can just instantly counter the camo cloaks, then does that not just make Eliminators useless, I guess, in a certain situation, I guess? It's tough being a Marine player right now. I guess that's the takeaway you need to take away from this. Anything that we have, I guess. I mean, when did Codex Space Marines come out? That's probably the real question. Because, I mean, Codex Space Marines came out before all the rules. Or all the other factions. Core was a freak out over Ironad castles from 8.5. Yeah, but another thing they haven't done is they haven't ever gone back and like looked at things that they didn't make core that possibly didn't need to be made core either. And this is why my verdict, or I'd say my verdict on the Warhammer seasons, because that's what they talked about, right? Like, we got the Nachman book, and they talked about doing these balance slates, and they talked about making it a season. So my verdict on the season is out at the moment. I guess we need to see what the season actually does, but like, it feels like there's a lot of things that... There was a lot of hype and excitement over seasons, but right now, all I'm seeing, I guess, is... All I'm seeing is new codexes coming out that are like crazy overpowered. Like, you know, the Harlequin's win rate is disgusting. The Tau win rate is pretty bad. The Custode win rate is really good as well. I guess you guys saying in chat that the Tyranids are going to come in with a crazy win rate probably as well. So like, we've got this quote-unquote seasonal stuff, and right now it doesn't feel that great, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, think that's the thing that got me the most is like they made it sound like these balance slates were going to actually balance the game, and I don't think they have any intention to balance well, I guess we'll find out this week, but like the last balance slate, it didn't feel like they really balanced anything. Yes, we got like a couple of tiny drops to like Mephiston and Death Company, but like if you look at the lists that people are running, no one's running Mephiston. People keep flaming me in the chat for running Mephiston, and I'm only playing on Monday night for you guys as entertainment. It's not like it's a tournament. People don't even like me running Mephiston in a friendly game on a Monday night against my friends because they think he's crap. And yeah, so good evening, Toasty. How you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks, and so is the family. Eradicators are at their weakest inside a Blood Angels list. Generally, shooting units are at their weakest inside a Blood Angels list. Games should not be looking like they're over by turn 2. I could 100% agree, Joey. We've only had one data slate. Let's see what happens next week, says Chip. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I hope, I really hope. I've done quite a few videos in the last 6 months about units that are completely crap. The worst Primaris units, these tanks that are overcosted. Like, I've done quite a lot of videos that, like, anyone could watch those videos and go like, oh yeah, no one's running those. Like, literally no one is running these. Maybe we need to have a look at their points costs, or maybe we need to have a look at their rules. So I've made a few videos like that out of frustration, I guess. And I'm quite a positive person, so like, I guess that was one of the things that I said to Mark on the channel the other day, because he was like, well, if you watch this week's podcast, Mark and Tony are just going to make fun of me for like the whole podcast episode for buying the Black Templars codex. And I am going to play Black Templars on Monday night, and like I said, it's the first time I've not run Blood Angels in literally 20 years. So yeah, I mean, they're entitled to make fun of me if they want to make fun of me, but I guess my point is like, it's yeah, it's tough. Like, I didn't really want to buy a new codex, or I didn't even want to consider, like 6 months ago when Black Templars came out, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to play them because I love Blood Angels and I'm always going to stick with Blood Angels. But like, at what point, like, how many more broken armies do we need to get in the meta before it's like, okay, I don't know. So I sent them a photo of me like making the really upset face looking at the Black Templars codex, but like, if you guys read through that Black Templars codex side by side with the Blood Angels codex, it's like night and day. Like, they have a relic, and I guess you'll see some of the stuff on Monday night if you come and watch the game. They have a relic that they can give to their bike captain that's just like, all incoming damage is reduced to 1, not by 1, to 1. So like, you jump into combat with like, I don't know, a knight that does d6 plus 3, well, it doesn't matter, it only does 1 damage to him. You know, it's just like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool, right? Like, Blood Angels would like a relic that's that good, you know? I also like the fact that they can move their Land Raider Crusaders and charge out of it. I feel really sad that I never field my Land Raiders. I just don't feel like they're good for Blood Angels. Well, they're not. Do you guys remember when we could have Blood Angels Land Raiders that could fly? That was good. Blood Angels never had these shooting problems before 8th when you were paying for BS3+, you can't afford to be one-dimensional. Blood Angels aren't Chaos Demons. Yeah, I mean, when I played in 8th, I just played like, I very rarely took any form of shooting in 8th edition. There was a time in 8th edition where everybody was running like 3 Thunderfire cannons because they were honestly too good. So apart from that, I was basically playing 8th with all melee units. And I enjoyed 8th. But it was more 9th that I felt like... well, I have Death Guard. Like, Colin plays Death Guard, and he has that... What is it? The... Foul Blight spawn that makes you fight last, and also makes it that you've never charged, which means like Blood Angels, you would just basically, you wouldn't get your +1 attacks from charging, you wouldn't get your +1 attacks from Savage Echoes, you wouldn't get your +1 to wound from the Red Thirst, so it's just like such a hard counter against us. And ever since that came out, I was kind of like, okay, this like completely shuts us down. And yeah, I guess right now Death Guard aren't that popular in the meta, but if you run into a Death Guard player, and I've run into some Death Guard players that have run 2 Foul Blight spawns, if they're running like a melee heavy list, and yeah, it just counters us so hard. And there's a lot of things that counter us in this edition. I actually think that like transhuman shouldn't you know, because like our main bonus is that +1 to wound when we charge, right? Like that's kind of the main thing that we're all about. So if you have an army that's like transhumaning it, like Ramshackle Orcs or like Deathwing Terminators, that's like a huge debuff to us. So I actually kind of think that like chapter tactics like that, you should still, you know, like make it that you can only wound on a 4, but add the +1 after, so that we still get our chapter tactic. Because I ran into there's an orc detachment that's -1 across the entire detachment as well. What's it called? Oh fuck, I forget the name of them. But it's like their whole army is ramshackle. It's like if you're not hitting them with strength, is it Snakebike's orcs? I think it's Snakebike orc. I'm sure it's Snakebite actually. Like, so if you're not hitting them with strength 8, which, like, you know, Sanguinary Guard aren't strength 8, they're one of our arguably most important units. Guys with Lightning Claws aren't strength 8. There's actually very few things, I mean, apart from Thunderhammers, because no one's running Power Fists. I mean, if you're running Power Fists, I guess that's great, but like, there's so much -1 damage stuff in the meta, I don't know why you would be running Power Fists, right? Like, there's got to be better options than Power Fists, I think. So if you're running into -1 damage armies like that, and you don't get your +1 from the Red Thirst, like, it hurts us so much. Like, you just take all the strength from a unit like the Sanguinary Guard and it's just gone. But yeah, I mean, that's another... we haven't seen how broken squats will be yet, says Rezio. All Land Raiders should get the Salt Stramp as a stratagem, at least to charge after movement. The ramp is right on there. Yeah, the ramp is right on there. I mean, if you really want to talk semantics, Highland Phoenix, impulsors are literally open top, but we don't get the open top rule like the Drukhari get to shoot out the impulsors. You know, like we talk about Hellblasters being rubbish or whatever. Imagine if Hellblasters could shoot out of an impulsor. Like, that would be pretty cool. I mean, I don't see why not. Cabal Trueborn can shoot out their transports, and they have ballistic skill 2+, and they can be armed with like D6 damage blasters and dark lances and all that good stuff, you know? Like, why is Impulsor not open topped? I mean, it literally has no top. There isn't even a bit of plastic in the box to give it a top, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I've got one. I don't ever remember seeing a top part, right? Is the channel going to rebrand to Black Templars Commander? No, it's not going to rebrand, and I'm not planning on making any videos that are not... I mean, I do Blood Angels videos every week. I'm still going to do that. I think I'm just going to occasionally play different armies on a Monday night. I mean, I've been playing Blood Angels every Monday night now for like, I guess 2 years, however long the channel is old, 2 years or so. So yeah, we'll you'll occasionally see. Well, in the next few months, you'll probably see the odd Black Templars game on a Monday night. I'm really curious to see, like, because I think right now, like, Blood Angels have literally no chance against Tau. And I played against Andrew's Tau a few weeks back, and it was kind of disgusting, right? It's like he can Overwatch with like a small unit of crisis suits and pretty much delete like my entire squad of assault troops before they can even get to make their, you know, like, I think I had a squad of 7 Sangre Guard make a charge, and after he'd Overwatched, I had 2 left. I mean, like, I guess you could say what you want to say about that, but like, considering how good Tau were at shooting, I don't know, their Overwatch to me just felt like it was I don't know. The game against Tau was kind of disgusting. I can see why some people would get frustrated with certain games like that. Do you know what? That was probably the game that actually got me to buy the Black Templars Codex, because I was like, why are Black Templars doing so much better than Blood Angels in the meta? Because against that Tau game was just sick. But is that a problem with, like, is it maybe more of a problem that Games Workshop are putting out the rules unbalanced? Like, not even close to unbalanced. Like, are they just putting them out? You know, because like when you look at the improvements that Tau got, you know, like the battle suits, the marker lights, you know, they must have known, like, hey, we're making this army quite a bit better. If you look at like the Void Weavers, and I guess the Orc Buggies and, you know, Admech Flyers, they must know they're making these armies better, right? I mean, they probably are trying to make them better, but like, how much better? Like where does it stop? I mean, I guess if you've not had your 9th edition Codex yet, you'll probably be rubbing your hands with glee, except maybe Chaos Marines, because they think 2 wounds is gonna not be that good. I see Power Fists popping up in lists now and then. I don't really rate them either. I mean, Power Fists work well into ramshackle stuff, but I don't really see what else they work well into, right? I can understand them if you're fighting into some sort of ramshackle, or I guess Snakebite Orcs, where you literally need toughness 8 to negate their -1 damage. But then that's not really a tournament list, is it? That's more like you're tailoring to fight against orcs. And like, I'm never making lists to tailor to fight against specific. As bad as that game against Tau was, I'm not going to go away and try and make a list that can fight that Tau army. I just want to make a better tournament list that I can fight anybody with. Because if you can't make a tournament list, then I guess you've got nothing, right? Dark Angels are my most common opponent, and it's really frustrating. I come to play Blood Angels and end up being Red Space Marines with +1 to advance and charge. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were going to play I guess if you're going to play into Dark Angels a lot as Blood Angels, you should probably pick a successor chapter, dude. Because, like you said, your +1 to wounds is just going to be redundant for the most part, right? Let's be real, it's all about selling models, says Toasty Devil. I think that making it all about selling models is going to hurt them in the long run, though, Toasty. Like, I think it would be more healthy. Because here's the thing that I don't understand, right? And this is probably a thing, right? Like, I know a lot of people. I was going to say, I know a lot of people with a pile of glory or a pile of shame, whatever you want to call it. But like, in my situation anyway, right? I got about 9,000 points last time I checked. It's probably down a bit because I paint every week. So let's say 7,000. So I get 7,000 points of unpainted Space Marine stuff. And if there's no new rules or if there's nothing exciting, I'm just going to slowly work my way through that over the next year or 2 years or however long it's going to take me. And there's no real drive, like, because our rules aren't exciting, or there's nothing, because our rules are, I guess, like a year out of date. It's probably a better way of putting it. Because our rules are a year out of date, there's nothing really exciting me to go and buy new models, right? Because why would I? You know, I have everything I could possibly need, I suppose. And unless something amazing comes along, then I'm probably not buying anything new, right? I think that would be accurate. And I think there must be other people in that situation where they've got a bit of a backlog, they're working through it. You know, there's no new Space Marine rules or erratas. I mean, there's like a new Gravis captain, but like, I feel like the Gravis captains are kind of niche, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, if they actually just had like the full range of Space Marine models, like everything was competitive, everything was decent, there's no units that were going, oh my god, this unit is just trash, would that not just mean I would buy more models? Because there would be more options. If I got beat by Tau, for example, which is what happened to me, rather than just get frustrated because the Tau meta is 20%, 30% stronger, would I not just look at the backlog of Space Marine, or would I not just look at like all the Space Marine options and go like, well, do you know what? I don't know, let's just use a random thing that's not strong. Reavers, they're a really strong unit. Maybe I should add some Reavers to my list, and then would I not go out and buy those Reavers and paint them and you know, essentially make a better army list? Like, is that not healthier than, hey, we've got this new army coming that we want everybody to buy? Like, why not just make everything good so everything sells? As opposed to just, let's make the newest thing good so only the newest thing sells. I mean, I don't know what I'm not understanding about that. Like, if everything was good, would everything just not sell? Like, oh well, we'll see on the balance slate on this week. I believe you guys can tell me if you feel like I'm right or wrong. I mean, I would love to be proved wrong. I would love for this balance slate to come out. Blood Angels get a bunch of bonuses because God knows we need them. And I'll have wasted $15 buying the Black Templars Codex, and I've also wasted my last 2 or 3 evenings painting up those Land Raiders for a game on Monday night. And obviously I could have finished my Terminator squad that I was working on for the last like 10 weeks, and I've put some paint on this Chaplain and some other Terminators so I could run a bigger, different squad of Terminators. So I've wasted my time on these as well. I would love to be wrong. I just think that, like, after what we've seen in the balance slates this edition, I really don't think we're going to be wrong. I really think that, like, I think that it's just, rather than like the meta being healthy, I think the meta is just swinging from every new release to every new release. And I mean, I'm a little bit frustrated, sure, but I've heard quite a few people that have been just as frustrated, if not more frustrated than I have been, because I guess, like, well, you guys watch me on my Monday night streams, and some of you guys are super kind to me, right? But then sometimes I do, like, you know, sometimes you guys say something like, you know, like, we've thought for sure Blood Angels were going to lose this game, and you pulled it out and you played really well. So, like, I feel like I can win games maybe that, like, maybe an average player might not. So at that point, like, how does an average player with like an older army feel? Like, you know, they're just getting trounced over and over and they can't get any wins because their books are weak and there's no units for them to buy because they're weak. I don't know. I just it's tough, guys. So yeah. And I mean, I guess there are some sort of like lights in the dark, I guess. There are some players making the 9th edition Blood Angels rules work. There is some people still winning GTs with Blood Angels, but like, I honestly think that like, they're either not maybe playing in like crazy meta lists where, you know, like 15 people are turning up to the tournament with Harlequins, or people are inexperienced against playing Blood Angels, which could definitely be said because we're not that strong, then people probably don't have that much experience playing against us because we aren't going to be at every tournament. Like if you went to a tournament right now, you'd probably get quite good against playing like Drukhari, Admech, you know, Tau, Custode. You'd get good against them because you get as good as you could be against them because you'd literally be playing them every game, right? You'd know all their stratagems, you know exactly what they could do, etc. Eliminators are great because last fusel are cheap and they can move out of hiding, shoot, then move again. Yeah, I mean, eliminators are great with the sergeant like that. I just think that like Tau, they're completely ineffective against Tau, right? Because like the Tau player will just shoot them with AP -1, and eliminators aren't in. Like if they can't get their camo cloak save, then they're just gonna fold over dead really quickly. Essentially, without their camo cloak, without their camo cloak and cover, which they're not gonna get against Tau. They're just a standard tactical marine, I guess, in terms of survivability, right? Play the mission, not the army. Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I always play to score wealth, though. I don't know if I don't often go for like. I don't often make mistakes in terms of like just trying to score points and not kill the enemy, I think. I mean, I've done it. I'm sure I've done it on stream a couple of times, but not in the last 6 months, I think. They're not selling to veterans, they're selling to new players. I mean, how does a new player react though if they buy a broken army and then it's nerfed or it's changed or something comes out that just completely counters it? Like, is that a good experience? I mean, literally the only reason I don't buy more probably is because there's nothing good to buy. If there's good stuff to buy. I mean, occasionally, yeah, there'll be some Forge World stuff to buy, but Forge World's always so damn expensive, it feels like you need to, like, plan and save to get some Forge World units, right? Like, on a regular month, like, if there was, I don't know, if there was a good, like, a 10-man squad for, like, $30, I could probably throw $30 at the hobby every single month if there was a good unit to buy every single month, right? And I guess that's the thing I don't understand is, like, would it not just be better if every army had a chance of winning the games? Yeah. So the verdict is you guys just think that they just want to sell to new players. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I just don't think there's as. I just don't think that's as healthy a situation, honestly. I mean, I could be wrong. I just think it'd be more healthy to have like a lot of. I just think it'd be more healthy if more people. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see on this balance slate. Let's hope. If you guys could have written any one rule for the balance slate coming out this week, or if you could have changed the points costs on one unit for this balance slate, what would the change be, or what do you guys think needs the most work or the most love from Blood Angels? Steve says he wants an invulnerable save on the Sangre Guard by a mile. I mean, I think that would be nice. I think it would actually help them loads. Highland Phoenix says Sangre Guard getting Sangre Guard. I think you meant the same thing. Blood Angels get away to advance and charge. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Adam would like an advance and charge. Other games failing have proven that everything is broken, so nothing is broken business model always fails, so they do this instead. What other games have shown that? Daniel says Blood Angels, he doesn't expect them to get anything in this balance slate. DTM, evening all, just popping in for a bit. Did you guys ever go the Tournament and Blood Angels list from last week's Meta Monday Roundup? Do you know what, I saw it, DTM, I was kind of thinking about making a video on it this week. I've been a little bit busy. Plus I think it came out like literally the day after I was working on that Flesh Tearers video. So no, I haven't done anything on it yet. I guess I'm thinking about it. I mean, I'll probably cover it because people would probably want me to cover it, but like, I don't know if there was anything super groundbreaking in it, right? I actually tried to get details from BCP of like his opponents, because there was like a Tau player and a Custodes player that like, I guess he beat, and also, I kind of wanted to see their lists, because like, I think against like very meta heavy Tau and Custodes lists, I don't actually think Blood Angels should get the win. But I mean, it might have been that like the lists weren't quite as meta heavy, you know? How do they not run out of new suckers / players, says David. Well, I think that's just the thing that might happen, David, right? Is like, I don't know if I feel like, I guess I just feel like I don't feel like it's a healthy place right now where like every new release is just it's just the B's and E's, and it's almost like if you want to compete at the very top, you need to be buying those new releases whenever they come out. And you know, I'm not a meta chaser. I'm not gonna buy every new release regardless. But like, I think I just don't like that sort of. I just don't like it. I don't know if there's much else to say. I just don't like that each new codex needs to. Not every codex to me feels like it should just top the meta when it's released. Like, a free Outrider detachment with Assault Marines getting OBSEC if Warlord with a jump pack in the detachment. I mean, that's super niche, I think, Highland Phoenix, but I can't see that ever happening, but okay. It was a bit of a strange list, DTM, but I guess I suppose the thing to say is right now would be the time to be trying your Strange Blood Angels lists, because the regular Blood Angels lists are not having a good time in tournament play, are they? Like, I don't think they have good win rates. Well, they definitely don't have good win rates if like 40k stats is anything to go by. I think they said that like Blood Angels win rates at tournament play at the moment is in the 30s. And it was kind of, I think last week it was in the low 30s, this week it had crept up to 36%, but like, it's not brilliant, that's for sure. Juice Pimpson says he's at work and he's been listening for the last 2 hours. I'm a new player, I'm buying models, I'm enjoying the games because I'm still learning how to play. Well, Juice, if you are just learning how to play and you're playing against other people that are not trying their damnedest to win every game, then that's great, and you can have a lot of fun. And you know, if you're not a competitive player, or you don't necessarily feel like you want to compete or you need to go to tournaments, then you'll have plenty of fun. I think it's just at the moment the tournament scene in some of the bigger tournaments is so dominated by the new releases. Do you know what? I was speaking to Colin from the Plastic Crackheads channel, because Colin plays Death Guard and Ultramarines. I guess two armies that are not in a great state either right now, right? And Colin didn't want to get another new army. He's put a lot of time and effort into both those armies, so those are his two armies. And he was saying on the Plastic Crackheads channel, he was going to try and ask Andrew if they could put in a rule where they weren't allowed to play any of the armies on their streams or whatever before they've had like their balance slate, right? And I guess the idea would be, behind that would be that like you weren't running something that's just totally broken, and like, you know, I guess he was getting frustrated for that to a certain extent. Should there maybe be a rule for tournaments then? And would this fix things? Like if the rule was that like tournament, but then I suppose, like I was going to say, maybe you're not allowed to bring the new armies to tournaments until they've had their balance pass. But then how would they get their balance pass until they've been to a bunch of tournaments and they've just rocked everybody at the tournaments? Like, how would they know that they're too strong, I guess? I didn't think that through, I guess. That idea started in my mind and obviously wasn't thought through full enough. So it's like 10 to midnight, and my vision is going a little bit blurry right now, because I guess I'm tired and I'm focusing down here and trying to look up and stuff. So I've got about 10 more minutes. I think it makes a lot more sense when you sort of realize that they don't care about the competitive aspect. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing it keeps coming back to, right? Like, competitive 40k is apparently only 20% of the player base for 40k. So you're right, like maybe they just don't care about the competitive space because it's only 20% of their user base, and most of their users prefer to paint or model or just have fun. So why care all that much about the competitive space, I guess. But it doesn't, I mean, at the same time, as someone who is in the competitive space, I will definitely say it's not been frustrating. Like, you know, against those orc buggy lists, against the admech lists, against ramshackle orc lists. I mean, I could go on. It feels like every time I've come to the tabletop in the last 6 months, it just feels like I'm never the favorite, and every 6 months appears to get harder, right? Like there's new books out that is just even harder to get the victory. So I don't know, but it's worth. I think it's worth just saying that out loud. I like the. So Daniel likes your idea of the Assault Marines with an OBSEC Outrider detachment. It's fluffy, and it isn't dissimilar to Deathwing and Ravenwing getting OBSEC if an appropriate detachments. Yeah, I guess it's fluffy. I just don't like it being Assault Marines because they get no attacks. Yeah, I guess. If it could be like Vanguard veterans could get, but then maybe I'm just being greedy. I just don't like Assault Marines. Man, Assault Marines and Tactical Marines, they're so expensive and they get one attack. Why just one attack? I mean, the rumor for the Space Marine Codex stuff that's supposed to be coming out is that, like, you guys saw the Gravis Fighting Styles captain, right? Where it's like a captain gets some bonus attacks because he's got like a quote-unquote Gravis Fighting Style. So maybe we're getting some rules that basically bake us in some additional attacks for certain characters and hopefully certain squads as well. That could help Marines out a bit, for sure. Maybe there should be a BA Relic Bearer 2 with the Shroud of Sanguinius returning for extra attacks and an aura. Yeah, because the current relics, or the current banners that we have are pretty weak, I guess. I still miss the Standard of Sacrifice, honestly. I think that was a great banner. That helped us a lot in 8th. I was so sad when they took that away. And I mean, we talk about our units lacking durability. I think the Standard of Sacrifice was one of the things that actually helped. Like, it helped so much to give our jump units a little bit more durability. Oh, well, I mean, I was gonna say, who knows? I guess let's see what this balance data slate is on this week, and I guess you guys can, you know, we'll talk about it in Discord. We'll talk about it on the potentially on the Facebook group. We'll see where people think we stand after the newest balance, the balance data slate. I don't know. I mean, we did get some changes for Blood Angels last time round, so I guess we can try and hold on to some positive. But I really don't know what we're gonna see. But yeah, it's all well and good them looking at the top, but they need to make sure that they're focused on the bottom too, especially factions that have had their 9th edition codex and have like a terrible win rate. Like, do you know what they did as well? They did give they gave Necrons a few things as well, didn't they? Like, they dropped a few points costs on some of the Necron stuff, and yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. You think Space Marine Apothecaries should keep their 6-up Feel No Pain, but our Sanguinary Priests, because they're better, should get their 5-up Feel No Pain back? Yeah, I mean, that would really give the Sanguinary Priest a lot of value, wouldn't it? But, you know, I was talking, I think it must have been in Discord this week, because we were saying how we felt that, you know, the banner bearers of old, the make one attack when you die sort of thing on a 4-up. Like, that's quite a dated mechanic now. Like, it's really not that strong. You know, you lose, like, let's say 4 Sanguinary Guard, you make, like, what, 2 extra attacks? If you're paying a lot of points, do you know, it was maybe that that poll that we were doing about the Primaris Ancient, because he went through to the next round in terms of being one of the worst Primaris units out there. I think people really didn't like, people disliked the Primaris Ancient more than I thought they would, actually. Most of the points drops are from chapter approved, right? The balance data slates don't normally handle points cost, just rule changes. Yeah, so, but, I mean, was that not the point though, right? Like, was that not the point of seasons? To try and make the meta more healthy and changing up more often? I don't know. I kind of thought that was the point of seasons DTM, but maybe to me, like, a season is like, yeah, to me a season maybe feels like it should be more than, hey, we're just gonna nerf the strongest things. You know, like, a season to me feels like they're gonna do more, but I don't know. I'm very frustrated at the moment. If you guys can't, if you didn't already know that, then it should be obvious, right? And that, like, here is Usual Suspects. This is what we're playing on Monday night. I'm traitoring, and I feel really sad about it, because it's going to be the first time that I've not played Blood Angels since it's probably actually going to be the first time I've not played Blood Angels since about 3rd edition. So I'm not even joking when I say it's like 20 years. Because I traded my other armies in 4th edition, because I had an Elder army, an Imperial Guard army, and an Orc army, and I just realized it was too much, like, literally in 4th edition. So whenever 4th edition was, which is probably 20 years ago. So yeah. But do you know what? I've had fun making a list for Monday night, so we'll see how it goes. And I might try and get, well, do you know what? The week after, Andrew, I think, is wanting to play the Tau. So I'll play the Tau with the Black Templars and see how they do compared to Blood Angels, because Blood Angels into Tau was bloody rough. It's like one of the worst games I've played. And like, I don't even know if I particularly played badly. I just think that my rules were, or the rules were just, yeah, I don't know. It was such a rough game. Everything I tried to do, it felt like the Tau could just counter it. Alright, I'm off in just 2 minutes, guys. That's just past midnight. But I'll be back tomorrow. We're doing the Armyless show as normal. That will be about 9:30 UK time tomorrow. And then, yeah, Monday night we'll be live at the normal time of 7:30. This week it will be Black Templars versus Death Guard. And Colin's been trying to desperately make his Death Guard army work because, like I said, he didn't want to get a new army either, even though Death Guard are so far down the meta, it's crazy. So we'll hopefully have a pretty fun game. And he said he'd been researching, so there's the Death Guard list for Monday night might have some might have something we haven't seen before, because, well, either that or he's trolling me, because he was making on like he's got some sort of ace up his sleeve that I haven't seen. If you guys haven't caught one of the live games for a while, then we've got like so much better camera setup. We got like a new camera in the office, and we just have a much better setup than it was like a month ago. So if you haven't caught a live game for a while, or previously the live games you kind of found maybe boring or anything like that, I'd love it if you would check out one of our new ones, because we have put a lot of effort into trying to improve the live setup and for the games. And maybe if you've got a friend that plays Black Templars, you could share the video with them as well. Why not? Do you have a Land Raider Crusader? Yeah. That was, you missed the start of the stream, Highland Phoenix. The last 2 nights I've literally been, look, I've been slapping 3 colours on. Look, here's a Crusader, and here's the Land Raider. I mean, there's been no reason to paint them for Blood Angels whatsoever. And I've had these things for like literally, again, like 15, 20 years. So there's 3 colours on them. Look, they've got a bit gold here, silver and red. That's 3 colours. That's technically tournament ready. That's my painting points. So that's 2 Land Raiders on Monday night. We'll see how it goes. I don't have any clue how it will go, but it'll be cool to run Land Raiders, I guess. All you need to do right now for Marines are just lots of point adjustments till next codex. If Marines got the treatment as custodes, it would be enough for now. I hope he runs the list that won the tournament with 6 times Plague Marines. That was a fun list. I saw that he had a bunch of rhinos with Plague Marines, which I don't think I've ever seen. I didn't even know he had rhinos. The Blade Guard Ancient is the most annoying and stupid. Where's his blade? Yeah, that's a very good point. He forgot his blade, and I think he forgot his shield as well, actually. Blade Guard Ancient. Yeah, he doesn't have his shield or a blade. He's so ancient he forgot both. Thanks for watching tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you got some painting done. And I hope I will catch some of you guys on Monday night for the game. And hopefully see some of you tomorrow for the live Armyless show as well. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. By the blood or be made strong. Peace.